Let's just dive right into this explainer. So, I actually have to start things off with a slightly uncomfortable confession, and this is coming straight from a real estate photographer. The actual number of photos in your listing, it matters less than almost anything else you're doing. I know, for years, the industry standard was just to max out the MLS photo allowance. Like, if you can post 40 photos, you post 40 photos, right? But here we are in 2026, and when buyers were asked to rank what they prioritize when screening listings online, accurate room measurements and floor plans took the top spot. And photo quantity? It came in last. Not second to last, but literally dead last. And to get why that is, we've got to look at how buyer behavior has just totally flipped. Welcome to the era of what we're calling the virtual audit. Millennials and Gen Z make up the absolute majority of active buyers now, and they do not browse listings the way people used to. They're not just casually scrolling through photos looking for inspiration, they are aggressively screening them. Long before they even think about contacting an agent or booking a weekend showing, they're running this really rigorous filtering process against their own day-to-day practical needs. They're asking super functional questions like, is my massive sectional couch actually going to fit in that living room? Or is the primary bedroom truly separated from the kids' rooms, or did they just label it that way? They want to know, how far am I hauling heavy groceries in the snow from the garage to the kitchen? Or is that third bedroom an actual bedroom, or is it basically just a walk-in closet with a window? And here's the harsh reality. 25 photos can't answer those questions. 40 photos can't answer them either. But a simple floor plan? That answers all of them instantly. And this screening process goes incredibly deep. Get this, a staggering 63% of buyers now make offers on homes they've only ever toured virtually. Just let that sink in for a second. But there's a massive catch. They only make those remote offers provided they have high-quality spatial data. Notice I didn't say provided they have a ton of photos. The floor plan and the spatial data are literally what make a remote offer possible in the first place. So let's look at the actual engagement metrics, because the numbers here are just wild. According to data from Rightmove, simply adding a floor plan to a listing bumps up buyer click-throughs by 52%. Buyers are actively hunting for the listings that hand them the structural facts up front. And that momentum builds really fast, because it doesn't just stop at clicks. Listings with interactive floor plans pull in roughly 60% more views and 79% more saves than those just relying on static images. Plus, survey data from the National Association of Realtors shows that floor plans and virtual tours rank highest among the features buyers call very useful. They're engaging deeper, and they are saving the properties that actually show them the layout. Which brings us to a really crucial point, the hard filter. 1 in 10 buyers explicitly state they will completely eliminate a property from consideration, like no viewing, no call to the agent, if they haven't seen a floor plan first. That means 10% of your potential buyer pool is just instantly wiped out before they even evaluate your gorgeous photos. And a whole lot more say they'd be significantly less likely to even view the property. The financial impact of that hard filter is absolutely massive. Zillow research shows that listings featuring 3D floor plans or immersive tours actually command a price premium of 2 to 5% over comparable properties that don't have them. So if you apply that to a standard $400,000 Chicagoland home, the low end of that premium is $8,000, the high end $20,000. And a professional floor plan costs just a tiny fraction of 1% of that premium. The ROI is just staggering. Now, I want to be super clear here so we're all on the exact same page. We're definitely not saying professional photos are useless. They absolutely still matter. Photos stop the scroll. They show a buyer the vibe of a room, and they're the reason a buyer clicks the listing in the first place. But photos and floor plans, they do 2 totally different jobs. Photos get the click, floor plans get the showing. If you've got 40 stunning photos but no floor plan, sure, you grab their attention, but then you lose them at the exact second they start seriously figuring out if the house works for their life. And since you've already paid the acquisition cost to get their eyes on your listing, losing them over a missing floor plan is pretty much the worst possible outcome. So the fix isn't necessarily just taking fewer photos. It's about reallocating your resources. The winning formula in 2026 is 25 strong pro photos, plus a floor plan. That combo is going to be a listing with 40 photos and absolutely nothing else every single time. Let's bring this closer to home and look at why this whole dynamic is so magnified in the Chicagoland area. Honestly, this market makes the case for floor plans better than almost anywhere else, because our housing stock is so incredibly varied. We aren't just dealing with cookie-cutter subdivisions. Chicago and its suburbs are packed with unique, historical, and honestly kind of quirky layouts. Just think about the specific architecture we have here. We've got 1920s bungalows on the south side, massive split levels out in the northwest suburbs, long rambling ranches in McHenry County, and those intricate vintage condos in Hyde Park. Buyers literally cannot mentally stitch together how these unconventional layouts flow just by swiping through a photo gallery. A classic Chicago bungalow, for example, totally baffles out-of-market buyers. And keep in mind, a solid chunk of Chicagoland buyers are relocating from out of state. They're screening from hundreds of miles away. For them, a floor plan isn't some nice little bonus, it's the entire basis of their decision to hop on a plane. Especially on properties with those unconventional layouts, or finished attics with sloped ceilings, or multi-level homes, a photo gallery can actually scramble the sequence. You're clicking through thinking, wait, is this bathroom on the first floor or the second? Are these bedrooms actually next to each other? A floor plan just instantly clears all that confusion up. It shows the flow. It shows how that brand new modern addition actually connects to the original vintage space. Photos show the finish for sure, but only the floor plan shows the flow. But, and this is key, not just any quick sketch will do. Let's break down real fast what makes a floor plan actually useful. First up, and absolutely most importantly, accurate room dimensions. This is literally the single most requested piece of info in all of buyer research. It's how they figure out if their furniture fits. Next, you need correct room labels for every single space, even closets and mechanical rooms, so there's no guesswork. You also need the total square footage, broken out by level so they can confidently compare listings. And finally, the levels have to be clearly separated, not stacked into some confusing, overlapping mess of a diagram. It basically boils down to this golden rule. A buyer should be able to look at a clean, readable floor plan design for exactly 8 seconds and know exactly if that house works for them. Simple lines, legible labels, obvious orientation. If it takes more than 8 seconds of mental effort to read your floor plan, they're going to abandon it, and it's completely failing at its job. So how do you actually adapt this without adding hours of stress to your workflow? Well, locally, there's a media company called Ogi Optics that completely gets this 2026 paradigm shift. Founded by Josh Ogiba, they're a Chicagoland-based BBB-accredited creative partner that truly recognizes that structural data is just as crucial as aesthetics. And what I genuinely love about Ogi Optics is how they've set up their services. They include a detailed floor plan, complete with those highly requested accurate room dimensions, in every single listing package they offer. Whether you go with the base, the plus, or the pro package, it's in there. They do that because they know a floor plan is an absolute necessity for a complete listing today, not just some fancy, expensive upgrade that's only reserved for luxury homes. To wrap things up today, I want to leave you with one final thought. We're operating in a market where inventory has been rising for 28 straight months. The national median time on the market has hit 57 days. Buyers have way more leverage and way more options than they've had in years. When they're looking at 15 listings, they're screening 12 of them out right from their phones. With all of those dynamics at play, can you really afford to lose 10% of your buyers just because you skipped the floor plan? It's time to stop optimizing for photo count. Give the buyers the spatial data they're practically begging for and go get those showings booked.